been a little over 25 years since I started dreads. I skipped a 24-year video because I really am not the type of person that likes to make a lot of videos or whatnot. I know there are a lot of people that put out dozens and dozens and dozens of like instruction videos and everything, and you know, got a lot of respect for some of them. Some of them are putting out really horrible info. So I run a site that's dreadlocksite.com. It's 1.4 million pages of only the best information available. So I just rather just help people there. I help a lot of people on Facebook and through email and everything like that. So over the years, I've helped about roughly through the website around 15 million people, but more directly through one-on-one communication and everything, probably 100,000, 200,000. I don't know. It's a rough guess. I've been dreading for 25 years, but I've been helping people for maybe 10 of those years through other sites that were, they were very sarcastic. They were very nasty. They purposely gave people bad advice, in a sarcastic way, just to, I think they found it entertaining or something. I don't know. So I just felt like there was a need to create my own site, and it's become a really amazing community and everything. But as far as like my dreads, all I do is I wash them and separate them. I washed them yesterday. They are. I got an injured shoulder. I'm not supposed to be moving my arm at all, but as you can see, they are very, very long. That's the longest two are 10 feet long about. My longest beard dread is to my knees. I have stopped separating for a number of years, so I have several that are have more than one dread combined. This one's probably, sorry about the pain face. I've been in a lot of pain. This one, well, that's only maybe 4 dreads, but like several of them are like as many as 6 dreads combined. I recommend, I recommend the natural method over other methods, mostly because of the drawbacks of other methods. It is the most rewarding method, and the results come out the most unique and most beautiful. And that could be freeform, which, freeform means just letting them form the way they want. This is a choice that a lot of people make, and it's beautiful, but they can be kind of crazy sometimes. And there's one drawback: sometimes they form real thick, and which is amazing, but that is a risk. They can cause pain. They can mold easily. There are drawbacks to very, very thick threads. So I do recommend what's more called organic, which is you do separate them, but you let them form naturally. And that way you don't let any get too thick. You can kind of control the sizes within a range. You don't want to control the sizes too much because, if they're all the same size, they look very manufactured. They look kind of fake. They look gappy and whatnot. When they're a mix of sizes, like thick ones add volume, thin ones fill in gaps and everything. And so I had like most of them. Almost 90% were about this size at first. And then I let them combine. I had only 2 original ones that were thick, like about an inch or so, maybe 3. The rest were mostly pencil thick. Since I let them separate, most of them at the bases are at least half an inch to an inch now. Which is really if you want to be able to keep them clean and healthy and easy to take care of, like an inch is about the biggest that you would want them to be. I didn't really want to make this video and go into giving a lot of advice, and because a lot of my other videos, that's what I do, is I talk about why I chose this method, why I don't agree with other methods, especially some of the more harmful ones and everything. But instead, I want to get your questions, because I'm constantly being asked, bombarded with questions, and a lot of times it's like many of the same questions. So this video, I want to collect as many of your questions as I can, and then I'm going to be putting out another video in about a month and just answering all of your questions. I would also like to encourage people to use Dreadlock site more. I put a lot into upgrading it so that it's mobile and tablet friendly. There is an app for Windows 10 devices right now. It doesn't need an app, because it is fully mobile ready. But I put a lot into making it mobile friendly, and I put a lot into putting it on a dedicated server so that it's super fast. I'm actually spending 3/4 of my budget. I don't make much money. I'm just able. I live off of. I make $700 a month, for disability, and I pay $500 into the site. So you see, I'm living on $200 a month. But basically, I would really like to encourage people to use the site more, because it is so full of information, and I'm constantly having people use the contact me form and asking me questions, and contacting me through Facebook and asking me questions, and which is all great. I love helping everybody. I love helping several hundred people a day. But if you post it on the site, one post helps 1,000 people instead of one post one message helping one person. So I would really like to see people using the site more instead of coming to me directly, asking me directly for questions. Although, I'm asking you right now through this video to post your questions on this video, and then I will be responding within a month. If you have immediate questions, post them on the website. Let's get the website back to the activity it used to have, last year, when it was very, very active. There was 100 posts a day, and you would get responses. You would get dozens of responses within minutes. Now it's it's a lot less active, thanks to Google screwing us over. But it's still, it's the place to go to for the best information, of course, and everybody pretty much agrees with that. But people are not posting on it as much, and if you do, it's going to just get us back onto the top where we used to be, and really help a lot more people. So instead of coming to me and asking me directly for help with your dreads, if you post your questions on the site, I'll help you. I respond to everything within, usually minutes, but sometimes a couple hours if I'm busy doing other things. I do sleep sometimes, believe it or not. Contrary to popular belief, I do sleep a few hours a night. I do help people with dreads roughly 20 hours a day, every day, 7 days a week. If you've got a question at 3, 4 in the morning, there's a good chance that I'll be, able to respond right away. But I do sleep a few hours. But the point is, the more people who are posting their questions and posting their stories, their timelines and everything on the site, the more it's going to be active and helping a lot more people. And it's just gonna be much more useful. Um, the last thing I want to say is many people, when they start, websites, they want to be, the face of the website. They want to be the person that everybody comes to. And when I started Dreadlock site, I wanted nothing to do with that. It kind of ended up being that way. I mean, I guess people just thought that I gave the best advice, so that they always, say I'm the one to listen to. So they, but when I started the community, I specifically set it up to be more communally run. I set it up so that like everybody's input would be, more important. I set it up so that, I always said it's our site. It's not my site, it's our site. That's something I firmly believe in. I ended up becoming the person that people came to the most, mostly because I was the most active on there. I was the one that would answer the quickest and most often, and I was always on there because, it was something that I created, and, and I always felt like I was just, the webmaster, the person that designed the site and kept it running, and nothing more, not like, many other sites, Dreadhead headquarters, Johnny Clean, he's, big celebrity type, deal. That was like something I did not want anything to do with, period, whatsoever. I'm already the type of person that, like, through going to rainbow gatherings and whatnot, I know so many people. When I was living in Philly, I knew so many people. I could not go anywhere without without running into people I knew. I could go to, just about any town in the country and be there 10 minutes and run into somebody I know. And that has gotten on my nerves over the years, because I love my friends, I love helping my friends, and I value every single one of my friends, as much as any other one of them. I treat them all as, as like a best friend, I try to be the best friend I can to basically anybody. But at the same time, it's a real pain when you can't go anywhere without people, running into people and you just can't have much of a private life and everything, which, so, when I started the website, I really wanted to not be, the focus of the site or anything like that. I just wanted to, be the one that took care of keeping it running, and so, it's, I just, I guess I just had to say that because, more and more lately, it's like, talk to this guy, he's the one that you need to talk to. If you're starting Dreads, talk to him, every post on Facebook, somebody's like, hey, I'm considering starting Dreads, and somebody will post, talk to this guy, tag me in it, it's like, okay, I love helping you, I will definitely get involved and I'll help you, but it would be much better if people would post on Dreadlock site and let everybody help each other. That's what I want the community to be, is everybody helping each other, not me helping everybody. So I would just, that's the whole point. I just want people to get more involved again, and get it back to the way it used to be. And I was going to mention like one last thing, and I'll do this as part of the video. One of the most popular discussions on dreadlocks site for the last year, the one that's getting the most traffic, is donating dreads to cancer. We did not have it was because somebody had posted on there that they were taking donations for cancer patients because they had made 50 wigs for one particular cancer center in Canada or somewhere, I guess. So they wanted to, ask for wigs. Ask for dead donations to make wigs, and they had got probably in minutes they had, okay, I'm gonna donate my dreads, I'm gonna donate my dreads, I'm gonna donate my dreads, and they had so many people trying to contact them, but they never responded to anyone. So for the last year, I have been on a quest to find anybody that would take dreads and make dread wigs for cancer patients. And I finally, out of the blue, I've been talking to one group and they were the most receptive. So I was like, okay, just talk to them, convince them. Every time anybody would contact me directly to, ask how to donate dreads, I would say, look, talk to this guy. I've been talking to him, convince him to get started, right? But then out of the blue on Facebook, somebody contacted me and was like, look, I'm starting this, this group. We are taking donations for dreads, and I know you have like the most amazing dreads I've ever seen, so I wanted to tell you about it. And right away I was like, oh God, you're the person I've been looking for the last year. So in that case, it did help to be recognizable. Because my face is all over Google and everything. So he's like, I've seen you everywhere I go, in every dread community. So I wanted to contact you and let you know about this. So the site is Dreadlocks of Love, and it's the name of it's Dreads for Friends. The Dreadlocks of Love might be changed. There's also spiritdreads.com. The difference between the two is if you had a loved one that lost a dread and you want to wear their dread as a part of them, spiritdreads.com, you would take your loved one's cut off dread, send it to them, they would prep it, and then they would help you to reattach it to your hair so that you would have your deceased loved one's dread that you carry with you throughout life, keeping them as a part of you. Dreads for Friends is if you're cutting off your dreads, or if you want to cut them off to donate. They super clean them. They put them through a process that super cleans them. They have developed a machine that will actually sew the dreads to the wig, to the wig base and whatnot. And they have put a lot of effort into creating this. They're actually patenting the process that they're going to be using to create the dreads. So their logo is basically the dread loop. So they wanted me to make a picture with the dread loop. I said that I would attempt see how I'm going to do this. Well, I was going to try to do a sort of like a 5-loop peacock thing, since this is like a 10-foot long thread, but instead I will just do a dread loop, and this will be my contribution for their website, for their logo. And so, if you're considering cutting your dreads, I would like you to definitely check them out. They are the only group out there right now that is accepting dreads to make dread wigs for cancer patients. And I am so grateful that I finally found some after, I was calling every group. The one group, the woman told me, well, I don't think anybody would want dreadlocks. I was like, oh yeah? Well, cancer patients that lost their dreads would want, a dreadlock wigs. Well, that's your opinion. And I was like, no, that's not my opinion. That's everybody's opinion. If they lost their dreads had great meaning, and they would want, a dread wig over a regular wig. And, they would appreciate a regular wig, but they would prefer a dread wig. Well, that's your opinion. Well, maybe certain ethnic groups would. I was like, you do realize that every ethnic group wears dreadlocks, and their meaning. And it's like, well, that's your opinion. She just was like nasty, horrible woman. The next phone call, I talked to the guy's like, we would love to do that, but we don't think you can because we don't know how you would attach the dreadlocks to the wig. So I explained to her, well, you would just comb out, the bottom inch or two of the dread. Then you have individual hairs, you sew them into the wig, and you got your dread wig. And he's like, wow, I had never thought of that. I just learned something new. And so he's like, okay, I'm going to talk to my wig makers, and we'll see if we can do that. It's like, this guy was wonderful. He was very receptive. He was very interested in doing it, and he saw the reasoning why people would want that and everything, but he just never gave me a final commitment to it. And that's when this other guy came along, and he's like, I'm doing this, help me. So, I'd be like, I've been trying to help people, and I haven't had anybody that can do it, So it was like synchronicity. It's something that's just happening. Anyways, that's it. I just wanted to say it's been a wonderful 25 years. I'll finish off just saying, basically how I started my dreads. I went camping. That's simple. I went to a rainbow gathering. It was in Vermont. I spent a lot of time in a silent meditation teepee, drinking peyote tea. I spent a lot of time I was doing a lot of meditation at that gathering, more than any other gathering I've been to. I was camped by a rattlesnake, just hung out with the grumpy old rattlesnake a lot. I was basically just living in the wilderness for a few weeks, and at that time the top of my hair was real short and the back was a little longer, sort of like a mullet, because I had cut my previous set of dreads off to go to school for computer programming. Biggest mistake of my life. Never cut your dreads. Unless you're donating for cancer, of course, but it's a traumatic thing. I traded for a few beads. I stuck a few beads in the back of my hair. My hair was not knotted at all. I just stuck in a few beads, and within 2 weeks, it had dreaded. I went home. I got a job. During the next 2 months, the rest of my hair got a little longer, and then that started to dread. It dreaded real fast. I did nothing to it. I wasn't even using a dread shampoo at the time. This was like 25 years ago. I did not know there were dread shampoos. I never knew anybody back home. I never knew anybody used any methods. The only thing I ever knew about dreadlocks was a Rasta. I said, how do you get your hair like that? He's like, throw away your comb, Mom. So I was like, okay, I'll throw away my comb. That was my first set. And it congoed like crazy. It's basically what you would call freeform. I had 2 horns on the top and a pillow in the back. And I loved them. I would have grown them forever, but they were crazy. They were not what most people would find acceptable or whatnot. I didn't care. This set I definitely love more, and I'm glad that, after I started out over again that I did separate and that they came out the way they did. Um, the second time around, I did realize, okay, if you don't want, a dread like the size of the back of your neck, you should separate them. So those two things were the only things I ever knew about dreads. One day, a woman came up to me on the street, and she's like, "Oh, I love your dreads," and I was like, "Thank you." And she's like, "Do you use wax?" And I was like, "Wax? What do you mean wax?" He was like, "Well, a lot of people use beeswax." And I was like, "Really? For what?" She's like, "Well, it helps the dread." So, and at that time, my beard was just starting to dread, and like I have here, I had a bunch of loose hairs, and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna try it." I bought some beeswax. I took a little pea-sized spot and just touched it to my dread. I mean, it wasn't even a dread; it was loose hair. I just touched it to it, and I was like, "Oh shit! How the fuck do I get this out of here?" And I'm like picking at it, and I'm picking at it for years and years, trying to get that wax out of there. And I had just literally touched, that little pea-sized spot to, this much of an area, and I was picking at it. I borrowed it. I washed it. I'd done everything. I could not get that wax out. Luckily, once my dreads were long enough my beard dreads were long enough that I was sitting on them and everything. I was climbing out of a tent and getting into my chair, and I yanked that dread off, and it broke off, and I was glad. I mean, because I got rid of the wax by getting rid of the dread. So that was the first time I had heard of anything weird being done to dreads. And then I got online and I saw a whole lot of just crazy things being done to dreads. It's like, people were using brute force to make their hair dread when all they have to do is just let it dread. And, that's when I started, to give people advice and everything, and to help them. Most of the time it was help them recover from the things that they had done wrong. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this up because I'm just babbling now at this point. I hope that I see more of you on Dreadlock site. Less of you on YouTube, because YouTube is one of the worst places for any info, period. Whether it's Dreadlocks info or anything. As a random case in point, there are people on YouTube proving gravity doesn't exist, proving the earth is flat, proving that, the sun's 1,000 miles away, proving that satellites don't exist, that we've never been to space, proving, they claim they are disproving recognized scientific principles, but they're doing it in a YouTube video instead of writing a scientific paper. Anybody in the world can put out a YouTube video. Hello, sorry, the camera died and cut me off mid-sentence. What I was trying to explain is that anybody can record a video, put it up on YouTube, and make any kind of ridiculous claim, and people will buy into it. And in the case of dreadlocks, there are so many more videos out there telling you to do things that are absolutely ridiculous and incredibly harmful, and people will buy into it and do those things. I've seen people recommending putting super glue in their hair, and people have followed those recommendations and done it. And there are people that there are just so many really horrible videos out there. I would recommend that anything that you see on a YouTube video, that you should go to dreadlocksite.com and then research what you saw
in the YouTube videos, or ask if you think they are accurate, if you think it's a good idea, because we will never steer you wrong. We pride ourselves in always having the best information there is, and everybody in the community will give you the best information, and we will not ever allow harmful info on there, like you will find running rampant on YouTube. So just come on by the site. I'd also like to encourage everybody to get more active on the site, because the more people are asking questions on there, posting their timelines and everything, the more people that we can help every day. So hope to see you on the site, and love you guys, and I will be posting another video next month. See you soon. Sorry the camera died.